lovely good morning to you, our viewers. My name is Sharon Kalimbola, and this is the Camnet Breakfast. We're here once again to keep you updated with information that will help your day keep going on a better note and help you just to make informed decisions. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with Patrick. Soko Patrick.
Thank you. Looking nice today.
Thank you. Energetic as usual.
Exactly.
Nice.
So what do we have today?
Quite a number of stories, Patrick, as usual. According to our lineup as per breakfast show, we have zooming in the headlines. We'll be looking at the stories that made headlines yesterday, and you, our callers out there, you, our viewers out there, rather, will be able to call in just from the word go with regards to what stories you feel have made an impact, or stories that you feel you need to add a voice onto. You can be calling us on your screen, and the numbers that are scrolling on your screens, just from the word go, like we mentioned. From the word go, Patrick.
Exactly.
It's a bonus.
Exactly.
And we also have those interviews that we usually have, Patrick.
Yeah.
What are we expecting?
We are expecting MWENYA to talk about the vibrancy of the opposition under the new Dawn administration, but we also want our viewers to also give their insights as regard what they think about opposition political parties and how can they be more vibrant in providing checks and balances. Sharon, before we get deep into our discussion, we'll go straight into Morning Boost.
All right.
Good morning, Camnet viewers, and welcome to a quick morning wake out. This is very good for you as you're working on your heart, you're working on your body to burn some fats in the body. Let's do this. It's going to be very basic. You have exercised before, you've never done it. This is the show for you. So, let's go. A warm-up is very good for you. Let's do a warm-up. So you march, that's your warm-up. I'm started with my left leg. And very soon I'll start now introducing the moves we're gonna do for this morning. Let's go. So that was just your warm-up for you. We're gonna do the workout now. Okay, let's go. Last one. And change. Marching. So that is very basic for you. I'm gonna combine the 4 moves together now, and then you're done with your morning workout. So do a marching, jumping jacks, and we're gonna punch some punches now. Okay, last one, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put them together now. Let's go. Marching. Okay, so you've done that, and then now you're going to do a little bit of squats. Okay, so we're gonna do 40 of them. Open your stance, make sure that your back is well aligned. So I'm gonna do some squats now here. Watch me. 10 of them. Okay, let's go. 10. Last 10. And 10. All right, that's it for today, and I'll see you again for another morning quick workout. Make sure that you tune in. This has been Isaac, your presenter, and I'm signing out.
Welcome back. Well, we are glad that you could follow the proceedings there on Morning Boost. It's an interesting exercise which you need to undertake every morning, and I myself and I do that sort of activity. I do that.
I don't know why. But I'm not believing this. Just
I'm not going to compel you to believe, but I'm talking about myself. So it is also important. I'm not buying this,
even if it was the cheapest commodity. I'm not buying this, Patrick. You don't exercise. You don't. You've been promising me for the past 2 weeks that you're going to join this man to do the exercise, but literally you're wearing your suit here. We're not seeing anything.
But I'll be with him. But I just said I do it while I'm home. I didn't say I do it with him. No, but I'll do it with him.
We want to see it. Obviously, the viewers want to see, okay, the other side of Patrick.
Yes, we'll do.
Not the serious side of my jacket, to my what. Anyway, we want to see the other side of Patrick. You know, it's very important.
Yeah, it is.
People shouldn't just see this form or you.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But I hope you could emulate me as well as I do that.
I'll try.
Yes, you have to. So Sharon,
not promising though.
We'll just have to get straight into zooming the headlines. I just want to know what some of the stories we are focusing on this morning.
Obviously, one of the stories that we are focusing on is what's happened at the court. We should be calling Miriam, obviously, to just give us a heads up of what she is tracking at the court. Obviously, she's still there. I mean, she's already there. She's an early bird with her court reportage. So we will be getting into that a little later, just to help us get an overview of what she is tracking. But one of the stories that we are tracking is that which she covered yesterday from the court, involving the National Prosecution Authority prosecutor.
Yes.
In Sama.
Yes.
Yes, who was killed or murdered in cold blood last December. That was 2020 in December, when they were the now president Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition, was appearing before the police for questioning in one of the matters involving his Kalomo farm, the famous Kalomo farm.
Exactly.
You know, so He had his supporters follow him there as usual, like any other leader would have people follow and just to offer solidarity. So we had, but you and I covered that story. I shouldn't even be explaining to you.
Exactly.
We were actually tear gassed. I think that was the first time I had to experience the wrath of a tear gas. So yeah, that was the fate. Is it 23rd December?
Yeah.
I still remember vividly the date, the incident, where the man was laying in state. It was just a gruesome situation. And he was not alone. He was with the other guy. He was murdered together with the other guy who was
Joseph
Kaunda, yes. And the matter has been in court since, and Miriam has been bringing us very good updates with regards to the matter. And yesterday, the suspect, who was a constable, was appearing before court again, and obviously that is defending himself. The other one before this, he actually said he didn't know whether it was the same bullet that killed Sama and also Joseph Kaunda. So yeah, you our viewers out there, you can also contribute on this story. It's something that really sent shivers to a lot of people. Just to remind you of what happened. Maybe we go straight to a clip, Patrick.
Yeah.
It looks just like yesterday when State Prosecutor Nsama Chipyoka and the UPND sympathizer Joseph Kaunda were allegedly shot dead by the police. On the 23rd of December 2020, the country was served with the most disturbing news: how the two deceased were allegedly shot dead when officers were trying to dispense UPND supporters who had gone to offer their solidarity to President Hakainde Hichilema, then UPND leader, when he appeared before the police force headquarters for questioning over a land in Kalomo. Almost a year from the time they were killed, the High Court in Lusaka has continued to hear chilling testimonies from different witnesses on what transpired that mature day. In the last court session, testimony was heard from a ballistic expert that a single bullet allegedly killed the two victims. However, this testimony also changed during cross-examination, as the witness told the court that it was doubtful if the same bullet killed the two victims. A firearm bearing serial number EN2650 has been produced as evidence, being the said gun that allegedly killed Mr. Chipyoka and Kaunda. Fanwo Nyunde, a police constable, has been linked to this case and accused of 2 counts of murder. He is alleged to be the police officer who is said to have used the firearm bearing the said serial number. In a twist of event, the court Wednesday morning heard that not all firearms that were used by officers who were deployed at the scene on the 23rd of December 2020 were submitted for testing. A ballistic expert, Daniel Banda, who has been on stand since trial commenced and is also an assistant superintendent at police force headquarters in the forensic department, confirmed with the court that 4 firearms were never submitted to him during the time he was conducting a test to determine which specific gun was used to shoot dead the 2 victims. However, the defense challenged his testimony as it was contrary to his report, as the report done by Mr. Banda revealed that at least 5 guns were not submitted to him for testing. Other witnesses that testified before court were Evans Musonda, the brother to Mr. Joseph Kaunda, and John Kazembe, the cousin to Mr. Nsama Chipyoka, who confirmed with the court what they witnessed during the time a post-mortem was done on their relatives. Trial in this matter continues. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Well, there you go, Patrick. This is a very touching story. Even up to today, it's 1 year, exactly 1 year, 2 days ago. But the memories are still fresh, and the case is still being handled by the courts. And I can only imagine what the family is going through, and generally members of the public, especially for the Joseph Kaunda. You covered the funeral, Patrick. I remember. It's so clear. It's just amazing how time flies.
Exactly.
It just feels like yesterday. I remember when we covered the lady, the widow to the deceased, talking to us, having a conversation with us. It was it was something else.
Exactly, and I remember President Hakainde Hichilema, while in opposition, and that during the same funeral you were talking about, he actually promised that he was going to make sure that the matter is dealt with amicably in terms of providing legal support to the family so that they can be able to pursue the matter to its logical conclusion, because that story was a sad incident. No one has to die in the hands of the police, because extrajudicial killings, I think, are not encouraged according to human rights, and this is the story which the Human Rights Commission took very seriously in as far as ensuring that justice prevails, because they were highlighting the need to ensure that the government, then the Patriotic Front administration, acts towards ensuring that they investigate the matter and ensure that the person behind the murder of the two citizens was brought to book. But that story also, I remember talking to a widow, to Joseph Kaunda, and the children were so young, and you know, you lose your parent in such a circumstance. For me, it's painful. So and that's something that we need to take seriously as a country to ensure that we avoid these anomalies in as far as the police is concerned, because another case, Sharon, that has been also highlighted before the police is that of Frank Mugara, who was also shot during the gassing incidents. But there are many victims of these issues, and these are issues we need to take seriously as a country if we are to make progress in as far as advancing our democracy is concerned, because at the end of the day, every life matters, and that's we need to ensure that we safeguard people's lives. And talking about that same story, Sharon, a lot of things are emerging regarding that story, because we saw the testimony on the aspect of the bullet that shot both of them. They say, you know, what bullet couldn't have done that. So it's a continuous process, and the courts are making their assessments to ensure that they hear from both sides and ensure that they bring the matter into its logical conclusion. But one other thing that has been prominent on this subject, Sharon, is the fact that the Inspector General of Police, then Kakoma Kanganja, was given a directive to produce a report on that. The report was supposed to have been presented to President Edgar Lungu regarding what transpired on that day. Was it presented? And so that he can be informed on what transpired. But you and I, for the record, I think we are not privy
we have not received that report.
So,
but then I think this is also something that sparked a lot of debate, because people were asking, where's the report? Where's the report? And then people are like, no, the report is supposed to go to the president and not members of the public.
Exactly. But now that we have President Hakainde Hichilema in office, don't you think he should call for that report?
Yeah, I think he should. I think he should. And today, Patrick, you've talked about children, especially in this whole situation, like the children of Joseph Kaunda. Equally, and Sama had children as well, not knowing exactly what age they were, but obviously we have children in the pipeline somewhere. Also, Frank Mugala issue, and today being the start of 16 days of gender activism, and it's centering its activism on violence against children. So you may wish to know that later in the day or mid-morning, the president will be launching the start of this 10 days of gender activism, which is actually centering also on violence against children. And these children are part of the victims of violence, and they're not really directly but emotionally affected, and there are many forms of violence, you know that. So basically, yeah.
And I think as a country we are too passive in as far as addressing such issues are concerned, because time and again we do cover incidents of child abuse, especially in densely populated areas like Kanyama. But you'd see these cases are not pursued to their logical conclusion, and sometimes the victims or the families of these victims fail to get justice because of financial incapabilities. So that is another challenge we need to address when we are looking at children issues, because at the end of the day, children sometimes cannot speak for themselves. As adults, we have the responsibility to ensure that we safeguard their interests and ensure that they are taken care of and their needs are met. So these are issues that we need to take seriously. As far as we commemorate the 16 days of gender activism, we need to look at that aspect of children and ensure that we safeguard our children here in Zambia. And we continue to see the stories, Sharon, that have been done on street kids. You know, these are children that we need to focus on as a country. You know, we need to take it very seriously. If one child is affected, then we need to make sure that we address that, because we may be addressing it on behalf of many other children. And just talking about that, we're also going to talk about other stories that are that we're making the headlines in the news, and that is a story on the markets.
Exactly. So we'll go straight into that.
Markets in Zambia have for a long time been filled with wrangles between traders and youths belonging to ruling political parties. These youths have often been accused of illegally collecting levies from market traders, which should be the duty of the local authorities. The United Party for National Development, UPND, after taking up office, encouraged the local authorities to do their duty diligently and ensure that no cadre demands levies from traders. UPND Deputy National Youth Chairman Mr. Trevor Mwinde, however, says this message has been misconstrued as market traders have begun persecuting other traders found clad in political party regalia within the market. He states that supporters of all political parties should be free to wear their regalia even within markets, as Zambia is a democratic country. Mr. Mwinde has further urged the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to remove all containers within markets so as to create adequate space for legal stores.
Our appeal to the local government minister and the market committees is that part of the problems that which we have as a country, we have inherited them, and they have come from previous regimes of government. Examples are these containers that which have eaten permanent space, which the marketeers that are occupying these buildings would have built other shops here, which would have accommodated some of the marketeers that are cooking in the corridors. You can imagine even where we are standing here between a pot and a stand for fish. So our desire is to see sanity in these markets. So turemiromba mweva kalamba nango mwemisepera ikale ni panshi muzake ko neutral ground mozira bishoka tumurepo ya survival but muri yo survival tekuipaya nayo.
The party deputy youth leader has further called for fair allocation of land regardless of political affiliation at all new market structures.
The youth have also submitted that in the new PH market there is a new construction site that is about to be built. And if it is not revisited and audited properly, it will be found that only the old members of the same old political parties will be benefiting, because these people here, their names are not submitted. We are calling upon the local government minister. We know he is capable, we know he is able. These markets, they need to be revisited in terms of checking which shop has got an offer letter, when was it issued, and for what purposes. Because it is not fair that you find one man is owning a chain of shops and yet he found these people in the market.
The new administration has emphasized on the need for sanity to be restored to all public facilities and for the rule of law to be upheld. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. In Zambia's economy, which has further been made more harsh due to the coronavirus that has slowed down economic activities, many citizens have adjusted their lifestyle so as to earn a living. These are traders in Buseko Market who say they have been trading from Zeko land, which is part of the market, for many years due to the lack of market space within the formal market. Some have even set camp here and put up tents as they try to maximize their businesses. However, the traders, who are over 500 in number, stood up in protest on Wednesday after they heard that the land they have been earning a living on is up for sale to a Chinese investor.
muno bambi twalikwata abana tatwakwata abalume nombanga batamfya muno ino Chinese washito bashitisheko twalaya kwisa bandi market yesu buseko kulya yalisula nabe nabantu besa abekala muno abaleta mauzo abalishitana nkani bala fyakula ikana pesa musebo mudama musebo bali bafunisha ati tetbale shamuzo namba foto kala tantika kwisa
so ise tipempa kuli wa president batitandizire pali ino rand ni rand ya government
fishinka
tifuna bajama managers wenza ma managers kuzeko kuja ndi bali mbikira ino rand kuti ino rand bagusa kuma Chinese so ise sidachitatora rate kuti ino rand bagulise awa abantu bazaenda kuti
bantu baswa kwenda market yazo bwana makatundu kuchoka kutali kuma mongu kuma kupa beoti katubira pano bazo kushite trade pano bazo pali mayuthi pano wanao posta mapisu weki baje bazaenda kuti bafisha
ero bapitse ba iche bali toba kwati nambire business nation ndimo aiche so I encourage the youth kwamba wangu business abantu bakalastisha kwisa
so ni pempa kwa president batimvereko at least maro ngati bafuna okulisa basagurise ndafanye mwameti pezekera muno ne mwameti pezera bakati titandizira na bana batu.
Buseko market spokesperson Mr. Michisha Milimo says the new administration should come to the aid of the market traders as they have nowhere to go.
The market has got two compartments, the eastern side and western side here where we are. So these people you are seeing here, they come from very far. And from our finding out when we came in power, this land has got 3 title deeds which people we don't know who are the owners of this place. Okay? So, if then when PF was ruling, why didn't these people come and claim this land to say it belongs to them? But today, me as a spokesperson, I'm saying let the government come and intervene to this issue before something else can happen.
However, when contacted, the Public Relations Unit at the Ministry of Local Government requested for a press query, which was not responded to by broadcast time. The traders have since challenged the new administration to ensure that Zambians are not disadvantaged but provided with alternative markets before investors can be welcomed into the country. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
So yeah, those are some of the stories that we covered yesterday. As we are still zooming in headlines, you can still call us as well and contribute on these stories. Give us your view of what you think about the stories, Patrick.
Interesting. Well, the story at Buseko Market, I think it's an interesting one. Where you see, okay, the land belongs to Zeko, and Zeko decides to sell it.
Okay, Zeko is Zambia Army? Because you remember, in Ilanda there is a camp called Zeko Camp.
Yes.
For these guys, Zambia Army guys. So I'm wondering, are they the same people that own this land?
Probably. But
so why should the public, for lack of a better term, I'm calling it a public space, be sold?
For me, I think these are concerns, and I think we've done similar stories on markets like Comesa.
Yeah.
Are you aware that Comesa is now dominated by investors?
Wow.
In the name of mostly Chinese. But you know,
yeah, I think I've seen quite a number of buildings that have mushroomed.
Comesa is you know that there is business there.
Yes.
So these people also target areas where they know there's a ready market.
There's a huge population.
Yes. So I think at the end of the day, I think the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Karinko, has a lot to do
with regards to markets, and market stories are a daily thing. There's always something happening. There's always something brewing. I'm not sure if it's because of the population that's huge there, or it's just I don't know. There's always something, you know.
So first of all, my thinking is that markets provide a lot of opportunities, because they should be they create income generating activities for most of the people who are in the informal sector. So the markets actually help in terms of giving people a livelihood. So you'd find that more families are centered around the markets. At the end of the day, you and I shall not have to go to the market. Exactly. So markets play an important role in our society. And and the markets, no wonder they are markets, that is where there are also more voters. And if you remember, the issue of street vending in the past has been the issue of politics.
Yeah.
Where you think, if I remove them from the street, it's going to be, they are not going to vote for me.
Exactly.
So I'd rather keep them in the streets. Disregarding all the health guidelines and all other issues
Safety
that come.
measures,
yes,
especially those that trade along Lumumba Road. It's been a long-term concern from various departments who work in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government to say people should not be trading along the rail or along the road, because in an event that it's an accident, a car just loses its track and then a lot of lives will be lost. So that was even before the COVID-19. So this issue of street vending and the concern of people trading along the road has been there.
Yes, it has
been there. And then the COVID-19 just came in, and then now we started talking about the health guidelines, but it's something that really never even reached here or there, because people were keen on making a livelihood in the streets the best way they know how to. However, we also looked at the story from Soweto Market, where suspected cadres were harassing other people deemed to be from the opposition, especially the Patriotic Front. And then Trevor Mwinde, there, who is a deputy national chairperson under the UPND, went to just assess the situation and just to calm the people, because that's what leadership calls for. If you don't calm the people, if you don't give hope to the people, they may just rise against each other, and they need to be something else by the time you realize. So this is one of the things that the UPND was against when it was in power, and it actually promised, they are on record on several occasions, that they will not allow people to be harassed and from being stopped to trade in certain areas. And the president also is on record saying people should be allowed to operate freely, with the most common feature that was mentioned, intercity bus terminus. You know, to say people should be allowed to freely operate regardless of political affiliation. So these are the things that we don't expect to happen. Obviously, where people are, there's always disregard of directives, and we hope that the law enforcement agencies will take interest in this and
we interact with that caller. Okay, we lost that call. Well, you can contribute to the discussion on zooming the headlines via the number that is scrolling on your screens. Shalon, you were explaining the aspect of political cadres in markets, and I think to a certain extent it is there.
It's still there.
But I'm happy that in compounds the situation is different, because there are no people, those who used to travel,
who camped. Actually, we had officers that were even deemed dangerous to even pass there. You would even actually feel uncomfortable. You start shivering, just you passing through certain streets, because they were fested with political party cadres, and other areas were actually deemed no-go area for certain political parties. You know what I'm talking about.
I understand. I know. I know that story very well.
Yeah.
And these are stories that we have been covering in the news in the build-up to the August general election. Up to now, these issues still emerge. Like that issue, it's about cadres trying to grab by the space from that man. But you see, this is where we are getting it wrong, and we may end up going back to where we were if we are not putting in place modalities to keep such lawlessness. And we talked to FODEP earlier this week, where we were suggesting that it's better that the Minister of Local Government and Housing, Garin Kombo, expedites measures to ensure that the market boards are in place. This is in accordance with the Markets and Bus Stations Act. It compels the government or the Ministry of Local Government to appoint boards that will supersede the running, that will supervise the running of bus stations and markets as well. But you see, we are still delaying to appoint the boards. And I remember doing this story under the previous administration several times with then Minister of Local Government, Vincent Mwale. All those issues, the boards were not appointed until their tenure expired. So the running of the station, to the larger extent, is in the hands of the council. But you find that the cadres take advantage of the loopholes, and that still happens at most of the stations. And that's something that we need to get lead of as a country if we are to ensure that the country is free of political interference in as far as running of public spaces is concerned.
Yeah, indeed, Patrick, well put. But then it's a long process. I think this administration is just 3 months. We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and then go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, my full name is Adolfo.
Okay.
And in Osaka.
Please
Mr. Amson, you can.
My contribution, I'll pick the one of the markets.
Yes.
What I'll tell you is that these markets are very, very vital for us as Zambians. Because me basically, as I'm telling you now, I operate from a market.
Okay.
And I think in the past what you've seen is that foreigners have been empowered with land, which is a danger, to us, as Zambians. Because the land is a source of wealth, and land is an identity, to us as Zambians. So it is, it has been so careless. We have been so careless, giving out land, to foreigners, especially, the Chinese. And I don't know whether these Chinese will go back. And when you go around this country, land has always been given now, to the Chinese. So now, if you were to come in these markets and see what, we as Zambians have created employment to ourselves, I think it will be very, very interesting. You'll find that somebody will come and start, selling hardware. Eventually, someone will end up being an electrician or either a plumber. So even when you talk about employing, Zambians, I think before they proceed with giving out money as a nation, to empower people, let them come and do a research, especially you as a journalist. I would rather invite you so that you come and see exactly what is prevailing on the ground. So they shouldn't, temper with these markets. Make sure that Zambians are protected. And they operate from a cooperative market.
Okay.
And which I feel, if today we were disturbed in the name of restructuring or maybe modernizing as it has been in the past, where, foreigners have been given out, it has been sold indirectly. I think it has always been a disaster to us. So please, as a journalist, can you please go around, these markets and get the full information so that you can be able to give it to the government? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Amsoni, for calling.
Wow.
Sharon, well
what Mr. Amson is explaining, I think, is very important. And I think I'm seeing it, this trend emerging at a very rapid space. I'll tell you one thing, Sharon. Foreigners have money. The Chinese have money.
Yeah.
And if you are going to ask my grandmother, who is a marketeer, to compete with a foreigner in terms of owning that land, chances are it won't work.
It won't work.
The foreigner will
they already have an upper hand. They already have the advantage. And sometimes this issue of land it's a two-way thing. Sometimes I've seen Zambians that have sold their land in their individual capacity to these foreign nationals. Money has a way of softening people's hearts, and a way of compelling people into thinking in a particular way. So, I've seen a lot, actually.
Because
a lot of individuals.
Yes, because even in Chawama, we are seeing that we have the famous Jonawad market, which has been under construction since 2012, 2011, somewhere, 2012, somewhere there, Sharon. Up to date. It was commissioned during the elections, but people are not there as I'm talking to you. The market, just in front of the market, there's a big facility now. But the people who are owning that facility are not indigenous Zambians, no. There's a big facility. Chances are high they may continue buying up because they bought that same land from some few Zambians.
Yeah.
Now, chances are high they may continue buying the entire space of the market. By the time you realize they are owning the whole facility and they are getting all the money, and
even when
Zambians were renting from them.
Even when you look at just around our office, a bit closer to our office, Kalingalinga, you know, these people are targeting
prime areas.
Houses are along the road.
The road.
Most of them have been bought, brought down, and reconstructed, and being rented out at exorbitant prices. You know, you as a Zambian now, you're renting to someone who's a foreign national. Not that there's everything wrong with a foreign national owning land, but then it's the procedure at which these situations are being done.
To a greater extent, there should be everything wrong where we are going in future, Sharon,
but
because
then, you know,
look, you and I can't own land in China.
Exactly. No, those are policies that the country has.
There's the famous
and that's
statement,
why,
Sharon. God has stopped making land. So the only land we have is the same land that we have.
But then again, I think this is the more reason why the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Elijah Muchima, once he attains office, he's been making these changes. Last time there was a story that was brought before our table that he's working in collaboration with the Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Science and Technology is helping all line ministries to take audits of what exactly each ministry is responsible for.
And now that you're talking about
the Ministry of Lands also is one of those that have been marred with a lot of corruption, according to the minister in charge of lands, Mr. Mchima. He said there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of change of names. I think that story, I'm the one who covered.
And you are a landlord, Sharon, you may discover tomorrow your papers have been represented by someone else.
Oh my God.
You get a sense. You may discover that today you are a landlord, you go to the Ministry of Land, you discover you are a tenant.
Exactly.
So some of these things we need to be careful.
Exactly, that is one thing he said. So there was a lot of ownership change. You know, you find today, this land belongs to Patrick Soko.
Tomorrow.
The other day, it belongs to Elijah Chifita. The other day, it belongs to Fukushima. You know?
Yeah. And just then it ends up with Frederick.
It ends up with Frederick.
So those kind of things, that's some of the things we need to address. But I think we'll talk to Mr. Muchima so that we can have him on a lengthy discussion, I think, next week to discuss these issues surrounding land, especially in public facilities like markets. Because this is prime land where our people in their livelihoods, and we have to ensure that we really safeguard their interest in that score. Then also what was interesting, Sharon, is on the story for Buseko. I don't understand how we are finding it easy to let go of our land.
It's money, like I said, you know, money softens people. It just makes people think in a particular way. You know how these people are. I'm not sure if it's a true story or it's a fact or it's indeed what is happening on the ground. But I hear these foreign nationals who approach you with those uko bags of money, you know, and then when you look at the money, you literally get confused and start signing documents that you're not supposed to sign.
They offer good prices.
Exactly.
That I know.
Exactly.
They offer good prices.
And then you look at the land. Sometimes I think we don't appreciate how much land appreciates over time, because you may have bought the land at maybe 10,000 kwacha. That was maybe 10 years or 15 years ago. But it's no longer the same price as of 15 years ahead, you know. So we don't realize that, and then in your mind you'll be like, I just bought this land at 10,000, and then this man brings me 50. You think you've made enough, but then again, it's not even enough.
My hope is that as we do the land audit as assured by the Ministry of Land, these issues will be adequately attended to, because that is important. And we've also seen them partnering with the Ministry of Science and Technology with the view of applying some technological innovations to see how they can undergo the land audit process and ensure that they map our land, all those issues. And those things I think are critical towards ensuring that we bring sanity in as far as administering land is concerned. On the aspect of land, we also have the National Land Policy, whose implementation also is not very adequate. and it is something that we need to look at as a country if we are to make progress in land administration.
All right. We are watching the Camnet breakfast. My name is Sharon Kalimbola and my colleague Patrick Soko. Just now, we take a very short break. When we return, we'll be talking sports with Blessings. Hopefully, she's here.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate, and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
welcome back. You are watching the Camnet Breakfast. Today, 24th November 2021. We are discussing pertinent issues before that, and we discussed some of the stories that are trending in the headlines, and we have been joined by our colleague Blessings Chakwila, who's going to help us discuss sports. Blessings, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. What do you have for us?
In today's episode, we're going to look at the game of chess. So, the Vice President, Chess Federation, the Vice President Chess Federation, Leslie Chikose, the Vice President Chess Federation, Leslie Chikose, made mention to say the chess sports just recently closed the national championship, of which 8 participants were chosen to participate in the forthcoming Olympic Games that will take place in Russia. And also, for the first time in a long time, we've seen a lot of names being added to the national team, new names being added to the national team, meaning in the competition that just took place, a lot of top players that would play international games did not participate and did not qualify for the forthcoming Olympic Games.
All right, Isaac, let's just get straight into the clip so that we can look at what Mr. Chikose had said, and then we can ask up further questions.
Timothy Kawe for having won that tournament and being the winner of that tournament and qualifying to the last phase of the championship. So we now have 8 players that have qualified. And then they are going to be joined by the national champion, that is Chitumbo Mali, and then there will be 1 wildcard position for the president that will be picked by the president to compete now in the in the national champion, to pick the 5 players at both women and men national team to represent Zambia at the World Chess Olympiads in Russia. So the next phase, which is the last phase of having to pick now the national team and the new national champion, or maybe maintain the champion who is there, will be on July 22nd. That is when we'll be having the last phase. So we'd like to call upon all chess enthusiasts, all chess players to come and watch this very, very sensational, very, very important tournament of players at the highest level that will be competing for national glory. We thank you.
I'm trying to put a smile because I've been called ugly somewhere there. But anyways, we're still with Blessings, and that was a clip from the Chess Federation. Is it Vice President? President?
Vice President.
Vice President, Mr. Leslie Chikose. He wears many hats, but in this regard, we are talking to him as a sports champion of chess specifically. And chess is something that we don't really have as on a larger scale. Do we even have sponsorship from government on that?
Normally, each federation should receive funding from government, but they are not given the adequate attention. That's what I observe, and chess is one of those sports that are lacking in terms of financial support.
I didn't actually think it was a sport. Is it that one which has queen, king,
Yes.
these kind of things, like draft? I think there's what we used to call draft. It falls under the same category, not so?
No, it looks like draft, like the playing surface.
Yes.
Like
there's
the one
a queen, there's a king, and there's a
yes. There are pawns.
There are knights. Yes. So, Blessings, you as a reporter with interest in sports, I'm not calling you a sports reporter because you're all over the place, but with a reporter who has interest in sports, what are you doing to just popularize the sport?
I think what I'm doing is basically I'm going on the ground, advocating in a way so that a lot of people can participate in the chess sports, for example. We've seen a constant need and a constant cry. I won't stop talking about this because it's there and it's on the ground of these federations calling on people to come on board and just participate in different sports activities. So I'm actually advocating for stories to air and, you know, working so hard so that at least people can participate in one way or another in these sporting activities.
It's considered as a minor sport. We have a number of minor sports like judo, is it karate, and have you tried to talk to the line ministry with regards to what he feels or they feel over these small sporting disciplines? Because we've seen a lot of...
And that same term, Sharon, minor sports, you know, in the sports fraternity, they discourage it. Because there's nothing like minor sports. But that's the perception that has been created over the years in Zambia. These are the sports
football is the major,
then these others are minor.
Others are minor.
And I think that to a greater extent contributes to lack of funding.
Is it?
Because it means you're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention
to it. Because it's not significant, you guys. But at the end of the day, we have realized that sport is sport, and you know, in developed countries, every sport is actually treated equally, and they given the importance. Due to the same reason, Sharon, we've seen that people who play the sports, no matter the sport you play, they are well off financially, in terms of the logistics, in terms of how they play the game, everything. If you see developed countries, for example, exporting chess. You see, chess would earn you a livelihood if you are a player elsewhere. But in Zambia, it's difficult because we hardly prioritize it when it comes to sports. So, and we have few players. You see, now we have the Olympic Youth Development Center, or they say now it's no longer, it has been detached with the Olympic aspect, though the OIDC in Matero.
It's still OIDC anyway.
Yes, but they have detached it from the Olympics. So now, the center there provides quite a variety of sports disciplines, if those we're talking about, even the same minor sport that they are referring to, but there's no such thing as minor sports.
Yes, kung fu.
But
I think I want to do kung fu.
Those such centers need to be replicated in every constituency if we are to make progress in advancing sports across the country, across all disciplines. What's your thought, Blessings, on that?
There is actually a core, just to, you know, for to not look at these other sporting disciplines as it being minor. There's a question you asked me whether the ministry has taken on board such sports. There has been a constant response coming from the ministry to say, no, that ministry will not be known as the Ministry of Football. So meaning they are trying to incorporate these other sporting activities, and truly, it's up to the federation to take that on board and just get in line with what the ministry is doing. When it comes to funding, there's one thing I have discovered, Sharon, is that there's a procedure through which these federations should get the funding. Instead of going straight maybe to the Ministry of Sport, there is National Sports Council where they should get that funding from. But then I don't know where or how, whether they don't apply, they're not doing enough to get those funds. But otherwise, I think funds are readily available, and the Ministry of Sport is ready to help them.
Like their spokesperson. But anyways, what are we expecting today in the news, in the world of sports?
In the world of sports, I think I'll do something with FAS in relation to the why they haven't incorporated female referees to come on board in the training that is ongoing, the 5-day training that is ongoing. So soccer fans should expect that from me today.
This is day what?
This should be day 4, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're almost concluding.
They're almost concluding, yes.
All right, that has been the sports segment with Blessings Chakwila. We're still here with Patrick Soko. On the other side, we continue with the conversations that we've had with Zooming the headlines, and we hope that by then our guest that we are expecting will be here with us in the studio.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 07:30 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 09:30 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chuluwa comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. You are watching the Camnet Breakfast. Today, 25th November 2021.
24th.
25th.
Is it 25th?
Yeah.
You're the one who misled me because earlier he said 24th.
That's why I want to correct you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Earlier you said 24th. So now you're supposed to apologize to me for making me think in that order.
Okay, I'll borrow your words. This the way you have just said it. Apologize to me. Okay. Just like that. Take them as mine. And then we continue. Interesting. We were talking to Blessings where we highlighted a number of issues on the sports segment regarding what is happening around the world of sports. She talks about sports that are regarded as minor sports. Sharon, we hinted on that, and we also discussed the aspect of chess. which is a venture Sharon wants to go in. Then we'll go straight into another interesting segment while we are zooming the headlines, Sharon.
Exactly.
One of the stories that was trending yesterday was the aspect of the Bank of Zambia increasing the monetary policy rate. So we get into that story so that we can have a discussion with our viewers there.
Okay.
The primary objective of monetary policy is to reach and maintain a low and stable inflation rate and to achieve a long-term gross domestic product (GDP) growth trend. Wednesday, the Bank of Zambia responded by raising the interest rates by 50 basis points to 9.0% from 8.50% to help bring down high inflation. Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Denny Karelia explains that the move is aimed at ensuring financial stability.
The decision of the Monetary Policy Committee is that we decided to raise the policy rate by 50 basis points, which brings it to 9% from its previous 8.5%. The magnitude may surprise you many, or even the fact that we had to raise the policy rate under the current circumstances. But there are a number of factors that underpinned that decision.
The annual inflation was running at more than 21% in October, down from a peak of above 24% in the middle of the year, but still well above the Bank of Zambia 6 to 8% target. Dr. Karelia says inflation is expected to average 15.1% next year and 9.03% in the first quarter of 2023. This week's monetary policy meeting was Dr. Karelia's first since his reappointment in September by President Hakainde Hichilema, who succeeded Edgar Lungu, who had earlier fired him prior to the August 12 general election.
Administrative adjustment to fuel, pump prices and the electricity tariffs. The reasons are sound, because you want to restore fiscal sustainability, but in so doing, there is that inflationary pressure that sets in when you do that. But the expectation is that that's a necessary adjustment to enable us going forward to enjoy better prices for fuel, better tariffs and supply of electricity going forward. Because if we don't do that, we'll continue having the challenges that we have been facing.
Zambia has more than 14 billion of external debt, and the central bank urged the government to complement fiscal reforms to complement an objective for low and stable inflation.
We see that the modest adjustment in the policy rate took account of the need to continue supporting economic activity and maintain financial stability. Further, the committee calls for effective implementation of fiscal reforms to complement the achievement of low and stable inflation.
According to the central bank, economic growth this year was seen at 3.3%, with growth of 3.5% and 3.7% forecast in 2022 and 2023 respectively. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast, and just now we are joined by Mr. MWENYA Musenge, who is the National Democratic Congress Party President, and he's just, I think, 3-4 days old on that seat, not so?
Indeed, indeed. Yes.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you, and good morning, viewers.
Okay.
Well, interesting. Well, Mr. Musenge, I want to congratulate you for your appointment, and I want to find out how was it in terms of you accepting the position? You just took it right there and then, or you had to reflect over it? Because we understand you were with the Patriotic Front, then back to the NDC.
Yes, indeed, it wasn't easy at all. You know, when it happened, it was unexpected. The appointment of the immediate past president, Mr. Ricky Akafumba, was not expected. So when we received it, it came as a shock to some of us who were focused on growing the party. And what I did was I quickly, as Secretary General of the party, I rushed in to come and meet the president and a few other party officials we had to meet to quickly discuss. Because you see, we were put in a very, very complicated situation. The president had been appointed as permanent secretary, and he immediately became a civil servant.
Exactly.
And he could not continue being president of the party. And already, even before we could organize ourselves, we had people making certain comments, like saying, how can they appoint somebody who is politically active? And there were rumors that come Monday this week, certain individuals wanted to even apply for an injunction against that. So we had to quickly move. And therefore, the immediate person who was supposed to take over was the vice president, Mrs. Bridget Atanga. But when she was contacted, she was not ready
for the top job.
And next in line, of course, is the Secretary General. And there was a bit of pressure, and I had no option at that particular time to take it up.
So you mean you were taken back as the Secretary General when you went back to NDC?
Yes, when I came back to NDC, initially, what was crossing in the minds of the members of the party was to appoint me as vice president of the party. But when we went for the national governing committee, at that meeting, the members felt no, we would want him to go back to that position of Secretary General, looking at how I had performed previously. Yeah, so I was appointed as Secretary General of the party.
Mr. Musenge, you're taking over from a party that has a lot of issues, a lot of legal issues with regards to the faction and this and that. How are you trying to work in tandem with the other faction? And
how are you addressing that? Because we understand there's some petting issues.
And strengthen the party.
Yeah, we do have a group.
Yes.
Yeah, led by Savoy, which has also been claiming presidency of the party. Now, the truth of the matter is that the actual NDC is where I am as president of the party. And this is the party that has all the numbers that you may wish to talk about or would want to see in a political party, with leadership spread across the country in all the 10 provinces. My first step that I took when I was appointed as president was to extend an olive branch to our colleagues, that we should come and sit together. You know, these differences began a long time ago, probably around 2018. Yeah, and those differences was between me and Shimba Kambwili. And these differences have dragged on up to today. You are all aware When we founded NDC, it came with a bang. And the way it was, growing, it was growing at a supersonic speed. But when these Rangos came in, it stalled. And because of that, today the party has lost out. Had we maintained the momentum, we could be talking of something totally different. Probably we could have had very good numbers in parliament, or probably we could be walking the streets of State House right now. But nevertheless, this has happened, and we have learned a lot from there. Hence the reason why I took it as my preoccupation number one, to try and engage these colleagues of ours, to say, can we come together? What are we fighting for? What is there? We have a party to grow. We have to sell the party. We have to make the general populace of this country to believe in us as a political party, to believe in the ideologies that we have been preaching. And we can only do that if we are united. Unfortunately, my dear sister there has been so difficult to reason with. Where we come from, in Evafiashi, Bamayo Valenjo and Tingorefuma Nakashwaku. Ufiro Mono Manakashu taken. No to Manakashua utat, Epo Ponza Lesaka. Wish that we Manakashin Chitongo, Tafundo.
In English, Chitongo. Chitongo, in English, for the sake of our viewers.
I don't know. You see these dictionaries. But anyway. But anyway.
Not English, probably. Very interested to hear a proverb there.
Okay, but all I can say is this is a lady who has not been nurtured or nurtured well by the parents. So usually these are perceived to be that. Okay? My father, I had my young sister as young as 2 years. I was older than her. But each time my father called her, he was not calling her by her name. He was calling her Bamayo. This is how I have also been brought up, to respect women. Women deserve to be respected.
Exactly.
Behind every man, there's that adage, that behind every man there's a
woman.
There's a woman. Why? Because a woman is believed to be, a harmonizer. A woman is believed to be a humble person. A woman takes time to react or respond. And when she speaks with a lot of wisdom. But this is not what we are seeing. This is not what we are seeing. Unfortunately, our dear sister has been busy ranting, making certain commentaries which are not really worthy of a perceived president. Yeah, for me, I don't hold any grudge against her. I just want to, again, on this platform, to invite her. Come, let us sit and iron out our differences. Let's bring our members together. Let's ask our members. If we want, let us take it to a vote. Let them elect whom they want to lead them. If they elect her, I'll support her. I'll serve under her. I'll return to my position as Secretary General. And it must be known, these positions, even as we argue over them, they are interim. As a party, we have not started the process of legitimizing ourselves, because we are supposed to start from the lower organs, conducting elections until at provincial level, then come up with an electoral college that should be able to elect who are supposed to be now elected leaders. That's what the constitution of the land entails.
Mr. Musenge, now, how is your party going to be relevant, considering that you are part of the UPND alliance? Are you going to continue being part of the alliance, or you are going to divert to go your way and be criticizing the UPND? We just want to pick your thoughts on that.
Just to add, I think this is what Savoy is against, because she feels that while you're with the alliance, you will not offer proper checks and balances because you're basically ruling, you know? So maybe this is the bone of contention.
Yeah, but you see, she may be an ordinary member of the party. The party makes resolutions and policies, you know. You sit as a party to make decisions. So that position was reached before I even before I even left NDC. A decision was reached. We were taken to UPND by Chishimba Kambwi at that particular time. She was there. We went. Okay? Some of us left the party. We found ourselves in the wilderness. And we came back again. We are here. We found our colleagues had cemented that relationship. The UPND Alliance relationship. And they worked together. And went to battle together. And won the elections together. Today, there is no way we can say we are going to part away or break away because you have one individual saying, no, me, I don't support that. Mind you, this lady you are talking about, Savoy, was a member of UPND, created a lot of confusions there, and ran away to come and join us. By then, I was Secretary General of the party. She came and joined us. So, those differences that she had with UPND, we don't want her to drag us into those differences. Us, as NDC, in this alliance, we are committed to it. We are very committed to it. You ought to know that, you see, we fought together until we won. We would want to make sure that the promises, whatever we assured the people, is delivered. And we can only achieve that if we support the president who is in government today, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Because if he fails, then the entire alliance fails. And we don't want to do that. We want him to serve the people of Zambia as he has been preaching for over probably 10, 15 years ago. Okay?
All right, dear viewers, you can also call in and ask Mr. MWENYA Musenge, who is the NDC president, interim president, like I mentioned. All these positions are just interim. They're basically holding on to these positions before they go to their General Assembly and elect people that will be holding on to those positions legally. So you can call in and ask him questions that you feel are itching. Mr. Musenge, you were part of the Patriotic Front prior to the elections. You had gone back.
Yes.
In an event that they won, would you still go back to the NDC?
I was already on my way back to the NDC. There were certain issues that really happened. One.
During the trail of campaign?
Yes. Okay. When we left NDC, we formed a political party known as Agenda for Human Development. I wasn't an office bearer, but I was just a member. Okay? But we looked at time as a team that we did not have adequate, because when we were given the certificate, there was barely 6 months before the elections. So we had to look at who are the big players. So we had the UPND, and then we had the PF. So we asked ourselves, we are the team that moved away from NDC and formed this political party. So we said, if we go, we knew that UPND was doing extremely well. And we agreed with the policies, the ideologies that they were actually preaching. But we had one problem. Chishimba Kambwi was that side, in that alliance. If we went that side, it would have meant we were going to get into more problems. So we again now thought, our colleagues by PF are not doing very well. But these are politics. That if we decide not to go to any of these political parties, it would have meant our members were going to go to sleep, or we are going to lose all the members. So we opted to go to PF for the sake of it, even though PF was unpopular at that particular time. When we went into there, first and foremost, we were not received as expected. We had to wait. Their interest was in Kambwili. For them to receive me, they had to wait until Kambwili came back to the party. When they received Kambwili, they were in a predicament. How can we just receive him without receiving Musenge, who came first? So they had to receive both of us at the same time.
I think I remember that story.
Yes.
We received later. So we're like, okay, but this man rejoined way back.
Yes.
Why is he being received today?
Okay, that was... now, we saw that. I had problems with the Secretary General. They stream a long way back. So these things have continued. I issued a statement on social media that I indicated. Those who understand Bemba idioms were able to tell.
Another one, kindly explain to us what it means. Two bulls can be in one crow?
Two Bangoshe, two black mambas.
They can't be together.
They will never be in the same hall. So it literally meant one has to leave. So I started preparing myself. Then worst part was, here is the man who comes, he's given a chopper to start going around to campaign, and the focuses on tribalism. And this is one thing that I never believed in. Again on social media, I issued a statement. I cancelled him. I said, Mwana, you have a very good voice, and you can really be a president. But this kind of talk, I think it is not well. It doesn't augur well. You are the campaigning PF. You and me went to see Chief Monze, and we apologized. But why? So he sent a voice note back, ranting and saying a lot of unblattables.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why, when our colleagues lost, I was being quoted by NDC. The president, the past president, we were speaking, and he told me, look, come to the party that you founded. Let us work together. To say, there is also another saying in them, that konto wache mpwena bamushikire kumona echitombi. Here is a dog which is dead, and there is this parasite which is busy sucking blood from there.
It ends up being buried
together. The dog, the PF is gone. You are in a boat which is sinking, and you are afraid to jump out, and know if I jump out of this boat, people will laugh at me. You will sink with the boat. So attempt to jump out and swim. You may be like to get to the shore.
Thought there. When you were being announced as the interim president for the NDC, the presidential spokesperson, Mr. Sichola, mentioned that the NDC will not field in any presidential candidate come 2026. Isn't this too early a decision to make?
It is not early, because we are convinced that our current president, the Republican president, and at the same time the alliance president, the UPND alliance president, will deliver. And therefore, there is no thought at all to look at 2026. We want to come and give him another mandate. Yes, we don't know what transpires. We may not know what may transpire. But our prayer is that we deliver. Our prayer that we continue as a unit. That is our prayer. We don't wish that probably the bad should happen, the unfortunate should happen, so that we break. Because that will create.
Then? What is your relevance then, you know?
The relevance...
just the Chola bag now, following in footsteps of
Chola.
Another political party. Chola boys.
Chola boys. No. There is a lot of work involved in governance. Here we are. Our past president is permanent secretary, assisting His Excellency the President to deliver on the promise that he made to the Zambian people. There are other players that are involved. You see, these political parties come up to try and promote good governance, to try and come up and help in identifying ways and means of improving the livelihood of the Zambian people. So when somebody is delivering on that, there's no essence of condemning.
So
it is, you know, right now, people are saying there is no opposition political party.
And I was getting to that. What is the vibrance of opposition? Because we are seeing you, opposition political parties, we are vocal prior to the August 12 general elections. Now, most of you are part of the new government administration.
You're speaking the same language.
Do we see a strong opposition?
You see, political. Why you are seeing this situation? Why you are seeing that it's like there is no opposition as at now? It is because His Excellency the President is doing what the Zambian people want him to do. There is no Kadarism. There's no Kadarism. If that was promoted, you would have seen other political parties condemning that, because that was an eyesore in this country. Okay? So, and it is too early for any political party in opposition. 3 months. You really need to give the alliance a bit of time.
Okay. So we have a caller. Let's just get through to... Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and go straight to your contribution.
Thank you very much. I'm Stephen, calling you from Sovereignty.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. MWENYA.
Good morning, Mr. Stephen.
Thank you very much, Mr. I just want to make a comment on the program. One thing I'm going to say is that Mr. MUSENGE, I follow you very well, your political career, more especially even when you were with the big man, Mr. MWENYA, and the NDC itself. What I want to tell you people is that NDC is not a small party. That's a very big party. For me, in Northwestern Province, I know branches are everywhere, structures are everywhere. Now, the only problem with you, our leaders, is that you like too much under being also for some other big political leaders. For example, the NDC, you started very well, you people. Shimakabo, he came very well and he became popular. But from nowhere you say, no, we are going to UPNG, we are doing that. When you start doing that, you demoralize the confidence of the people on the ground who want to make with that party.
Okay.
So there you are now the president for the party. Instead of standing firm as a party and provide checks and balances with the ruling party. But you are also there saying that you are in an alliance and you work with the UPND and President Hakainde to see that they do very well. Now, that is very wrong. This is the UPND, Mr. Hakainde and his group, let them work and make that person popular. You see, you have a lot of people and the NDC can do very well. Because if you be an alliance, you will tell Mr. the President Hakainde but they don't think they are doing. So far things are not okay. Here in Sovereign, people put it very well to the ruling, but things are not okay. Things are bad even if we change the government. So don't work with them. Stand on your own and then you see that things will be okay. But we love you, Mr. Msenge.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is my simple advice I can give you this morning. Because there is no way you can be working with the Mr. Nation and the UK. For what? These people are
I think we have gotten your message there.
Do whatever they want to do, but you are doing this. If you stand on your own, I'm telling you this will be okay. Because my young brother in Colombia is one of the chairmen for NGC. You was the point is also.
Thank you for your contribution, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. We got your contribution. Maybe just to some clarity, like we've had him respond to
that.
Say,
yes,
we are working with. We went into an alliance with the UPND.
Okay, probably maybe you can explain because people don't understand the arrangement of the alliance. Or maybe so that you show with them there. Does you being in an alliance prevent you from mobilizing your support base as NDC to contribute effectively to the alliance's victory?
What was the initial argument? Was it to continue in an alliance beyond 2021, or after the elections, you break the alliance? Maybe people don't understand that.
First and foremost, I would want to really commend Stephen for that provocative statement. Is it? All I can say is he's putting across an opinion, and this is what we would want to promote in our party, that members are free to express themselves, bring on the table what their thoughts are, then we put our ideas together to come up with something, with the position of the party. And this is exactly what was done when we had to go into that alliance with our colleagues. Mind you, we are not the only party. There are about 10 other political parties, and UPND being the major party, and that forms the alliance. We are the largest alliance partner. What he has mentioned is very true. We are well spread across the country, and structures are well spread. Now, you know, when you enter into that kind of alliance, does not mean that you have actually combined as two political parties. We still remain as independent parties. Where we as NDC, we will continue to grow the party. We will continue to drive our own programs independently, just like UPND is doing. We only have a common denominator, and that is the alliance. And when we meet, we discuss issues pertaining to the alliance, the common issues that we need to discuss about. There is a lot that is being discussed. We also have what is known as the Council of Presidents, which is chaired by His Excellency President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. So if there are issues, for example, where we feel our colleagues have not done very well, we will offer the checks and balances when we meet.
Through the council.
Through the council. And discuss these matters and resolve them. We are committed to that. We are not, yes, as much as our colleague would want us to be independent, we can be. If anything, we are. We are an independent party. And we are observing and watching everything. Right now, there are 1 or 2, 3, 4 issues that we hope once we meet with our colleagues within the alliance, we can table them. We have to look at how we are now going to be fielding. Before the elections, we are all focused on winning elections. This time around, when we have these by-elections, if you recall, before the elections, the position which was taken was that all the members from the alliance partners were going to stand on the UPND ticket. We feel it doesn't augur very well with us. Now that we are out, we have learned 1 or 2 things. We feel, no, this time around, we are going to field on our own. But we expect the support of the UPND Alliance, where we agree, okay, That's it. Field will support you. There, field will support you. That's now the level at which we have reached now.
Is that attainable, looking at the mindset of people and the kind of voting pattern that we have in Zambia? We usually vote for a political party, even if we don't know the candidate. But then if you were to, for example, field in a candidate for the forthcoming by-election in Kawata, for example, are you expecting them winning, if not on the UPND ticket?
You see, the politics of this country have gone to another level. The Zambian people are now enlightened. They don't just vote anyhow. Just a few weeks ago or a month ago, we had a by-election in Eastern Province. UPND lost. It went to PF, a party that had lost lamentably. There are people in Eastern Province who still believe that no, this party can still deliver. So it is that kind of independence in the minds of the people, that people can make independent decisions. The beauty about the political atmosphere that will be created now, one, you won't see the pangas, the machetes and what have you. That kind of fighting, you won't see it. Secondly, the issue giving of tuma tokens, tuma sugar, tuma shani, tuma studia, those things might be a thing of the past. If we get rid of all that, then the political scenario will be fine. Because when you want to vote, you look at the individuals that have stood, and from a conviction, you will know the right candidate to vote for.
And Mr. Musenge, we want to take you on the aspect of, as the alliance, there's a concern Stephen raised regarding the pending fuel and electricity hikes, and he's not happy with that. And what are you doing about it? Is that what you promised the people? Because the alliance suggested that we were going to have low fuel prices. Also, it is the same with electricity, but we are seeing the opposite, looking at what is going to happen in the near future. Stephen
sounds to be a politician on his own. But all I can say is the UPND alliance took over a broken down system. There was a serious outcry countrywide. Hence the reason why, you know, everyone went and gave a massive support to the UPND alliance. The UPND alliance has just been in government less than 3 months. You know, it is not possible to fix or make serious changes to the system within 3 months. We need to give them time. Okay. But I'm happy the way things are going. Secondly, our colleagues ought to know that Zambia is not an island. We are interlinked. So when you're talking about these fuel issues, you know, it affects not only Zambia, it affects the entire world. So we need to take our time. You ask some of our colleagues who travel a lot, they'll tell you that our fuel here in Zambia is cheaper than the fuel in Tanzania. But life is going on.
Well, obviously, Mr. Musenge, not the spokesperson for the president, but then you take keen interest in what members of the public are talking about. The presidential trips is something that he was very much against, but he's been on trips for like this week, I think 3 times or 2 times, and then that is a concern from the public. Just a quick one on that. And it's justifiable.
You see, what creates a concern is when you have, you know, trips that don't make logic at all. But as I earlier on stated, we are not an island. I was listening to President of Kenya. Yes, he was saying, look, the growth of Africa, the development of Africa is being impeded or affected because of these borders that we have, imaginary borders that were put there by our colonial masters. And we remain enslaved because of these boundaries. Okay? Now, it is not possible for a landlocked country like Zambia not to go and visit Congo, which is a yawning market in terms of trade, and cut deals with them. There's nothing wrong to go and appreciate and, of course, switch on the Kazungula Bridge. You know very well that the two countries put their resources together to put up such a marvelous bridge, which has linked us, brought us again closer, and trade between these two countries is going to improve drastically. I mean, that is very, very important. It is important for the president to go to South Africa and meet our colleagues and discuss economic emancipation of our country, of Africa as a whole. And they were talking about coming up with a Pan-African Airways. Not where you have Zambia Airways there, Kenya Airways there. We tried it, we failed. Now we are going to attempt for the second time. We are hoping we are going to succeed.
Interesting. I love the passion that you're bringing with regards to connecting the whole continent and the presidential chiefs. You're justifying them with a passion. Just a quick one. We are in the dying minutes. The petitions that are in the courts of law, others say they're aimed at crippling the opposition. Your view on that?
My view, I'm one of those who really suffered it. I mean, I went through that, and I know how it is. But at that particular time, I believed that the judiciary was heavily infiltrated, and government interfered a lot with the judiciary. Today, we have a president that has given liberty to these wings of government to perform on their own. I want to believe that the judges are doing a professional job. If indeed they are doing something to try and cripple the opposition, then that is wrong, and we cannot support that. But again, our colleagues in government, especially the candidates that stood, they were doing things with impunity. They had no regard for electoral malpractices. They would go openly and dish out money, do everything illegally. But now things have changed. There are a number of constituencies where MPs have lost, they've nullified. They've put across the genuine reasons why they've done that. And they are at liberty to appeal to the Court of Appeal. Their matters can be heard. So there is no reason for anyone to complain, to say, no, this is unfair, they are targeting us to break us down. No. Go and prove yourself. Tasira Lungu, the daughter of the former president Edgar Chagwa Lungu, was petitioned. And her election was upheld. Who is this now? The former Minister of Home Affairs, Kampiong, was petitioned. It has been upheld. So in areas where they've lost, there were malpractices. All they need to do is appeal. Certain cases, they might be reversed. Others, we have to go and meet.
In conclusion, Mr. Musenge, just to your members as NDC, maybe to reappeal again to the other NDC, to come back and unite the party.
My sincere appeal again goes to Kuli Nkashia and Savoy. Come. Those who are with her, I know there are very few that are really following her. We are appealing to them, don't be misled. Come. If she wants to remain, leave her. Come. The door is still open. To our members, don't condemn our colleagues. Don't close the door in their faces. Receive them wherever they are. And we have a huge task upon us. Let us work extremely hard to grow the party, and let us consolidate this relationship that we've built. And the other thing that I would really want to bring across is, of course, the appointments. I know there were so much expectation amongst our members. All of them were expecting to be appointed or given a job. But you know that these are limited positions. When you talk about DCs, there are only about 160. So you are talking of how many? Over 2.7 million. How can each one of those get a job? So I want to appeal to our colleagues in the alliance. Please be patient. Let us give time to the team that has been constituted to run the affairs of the country. Time to deliver.
Well, thank you so much. This has been the Camnet Breakfast Show, and in the studio we had Mr. MWENYA, the National Democratic Congress Party President. Patrick?
Well, we had a great interview with Mr. Musenge there, and until next time when we come with another episode of the Camnet Breakfast with interesting interviews. This has been Patrick Soko.
My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good morning.